couple of minutes. It's a powerful day, April 15th.
It is.
Yeah. So I did not know that you knew, because I didn't see the announcement in our personal Soulogyfest 2021 committee group. So we're going to address that right off the bat.
You want to start?
Yeah, because it's
like lead into that.
No, I don't want to lead into it, and I'll tell you why, because it's obviously been for the last 30 days by everything I have been exposed to, including my own experience, that there's been a lot of stuff going on. Things are coming up. We're being cleaned out. We're being prepared. I think this is the final stretch. And so there's a lot more to what we're going to announce at the beginning of this show than what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very multi-dimensional reality that's expanding in all of us. And I think it's important to be as open as we can be, because there's nothing with more wisdom and truth than the moment. It's greater than anything. Mm-hmm. And the thing about that is you don't know what you have going into it until you jump into it and express it. Anyway, this is where we're going. We'll be back in a minute, 19 seconds with our beautiful, beloved, brave sister, Christy Grace. We're going to talk about Soulogyfest. This is a very powerful moment, no doubt. And we got Christy Grace with us, and she is an integral part of the Soulogyfest 2021. And in the spirit of collaboration and this new reality that we're all creating, we're learning as we go. We're learning to function on intuition. We're learning to function on I am soul. And I love the new language. It's taken a little while for all of us to start getting used to it, but I think we're starting to get used to it to the point where we can actually start to work in a more cohesive manner together and with ourselves and with our higher selves and so on. So let me just go ahead and jump in. So the last 30 days have been huge for everybody, and in a good way. I believe we're all coming out now in this first Soulogyfest, which I've been planning and saying we were going to do next month since 2017. It's coming to fruition at this time in its micro, macro aspect of the universe and of the energy that's in the realm right now, which is huge. Transformation through creativity, intuition, imagination, and following that guidance that's been defying the social norms that all got us here to this crazy place where all the crazy people hang out. So today's an important day for a lot of reasons. And let me just start, straight up. Morgan is heading back to Australia tomorrow. And that's a much more multidimensional statement than it sounds. It exemplifies everything I think that we're all going through and where we're at. We are Morgan and I stronger and more connected every single day. And this is something, when I met her, I knew we were going to Adelaide even before she did. So this has always been the plan. Where it challenges us is what we think should be done. Now, over the last 30 days, we've received individually and together a lot of intel. And one of those big parts of the intel that we both got was the phasing out of space just as time, we can all acknowledge that over the last 15 months at least, that time's doing some weird shit and it's going away.
Mm-hmm.
So we are no more apart than when we are together. We're no more together than we are apart. I mean, we are one. And that's part of our mission. And Soulogy was founded on divine love. And this has all been talked about on video, both in the etherics and both on the linear timeline. And it came to us in 2018 and showed itself as a golden tree bearing golden fruit and showing us that the third energy had been born and had its own consciousness, and it would work in collaboration with us to expand, and that more and more and more aunties and uncles would come in divine love, and it would work with those in collaboration as well, and it would expand. So this is where we're at now, and this Soulogyfest is a big marker for it. And I just want everyone to know that it's all hands on deck. We are committed to ourselves, to each other, to Soulogy, to the universe, to humanity, to all of our brothers and sisters. And we are working together in the purest love you can imagine, which I can't even explain because it's like nothing I've ever even thought about. And every day it's shocking. But so Morgan's not going to be at the Soulogyfest.
How do you feel about that, Todd?
How do I feel about it? Well, I went through a lot of stuff with it. I mean, we both have. And, I think to me at the end of the day, because I think a lot of people could relate to this over the last 30 days, all the things that have come up, we are cleaning out the closet. And there's some other intel that has come in with this, such as the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, and us anchoring through some triads that we have physically, physically united, both the physical and the non-physical. But I think that, I look at it like this. It's not the words, it's the energy. Mm-hmm. Morgan and I, or any of us, could say this or that or this or that, but it's the energy that we carry that offers no explanation because it doesn't need to. And people feel that. And this is what we're all coming to now. It's the energy. We're seeing ourselves as energy and we're bringing the human with us, or vice versa. It's all the same thing. I look at this situation, to answer your question, and I realized that for myself and everybody that we have followed our guidance. And there are many people doing things spontaneously, quickly, by trusting that higher wisdom that got us here in the first place. And this is what instant manifestation is all about. We don't know. We could wake up tomorrow and the whole world's locked down. We could wake up tomorrow and there is no time and space. And we would be like bewitched and twinkle our nose and do whatever we want and go where we don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this. Let me just say this. I'm good with it. I am in alignment to the best of my ability. I am good. She is good. Our humans, obviously, it's going to be a wonderful, beautiful, intense, wild night. But we're good. And we're here to serve. And we understand that in the age of the Trinity, that the reality is when you serve yourself and you serve the other and you serve humanity equally. We're here to show that it can be done. We're doing it. We're doing it. We got this shift, all of us.
Yes.
And we are extraordinary. We are absolutely extraordinary. We are bringing the universe to a point it's really never been. And we're the boots on the ground. And it takes guts. But you either believe in the eternal infinite soul and its unlimited abilities, or you don't. And I am soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there is to it. So that goes for everybody. I'm speaking for everybody. But from a higher perspective, because that's really, to me, the difference now over the last 30 days. This higher perspective is not running the show. This higher perspective is in alignment with the child, the innocent, curious, lovable, beautiful. And it doesn't have to be brave or courageous because there's no need to be, because everything's in the flow.
Right.
The more we engage this energy that is our true nature, the bigger it gets. And that's why I said, it's our energy. We become more aware of our energy. We learn to respect it. Our body's talking to us, all of us. And we're basically operating from a new active consciousness, as Franco de Nicola would refer to, which is a consciousness made up of ego, mind, heart, the higher self, and all coming into one voice. The human is the fucking hero. Excuse my French, but the human is the hero.
Yeah.
So the human is at a seat of equality at the round table of spirituality, where no one is at the head. And that's what this is about. We're taking this human hybrid soul species into a higher dimension, and Todd the preacher will calm down. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I have to say, when I heard the news last night, my heart sank a little bit, and I felt a bit of grief and disappointment, and not disappointed in Morgan at all. I truly honor her for following her heart and inner guidance, for leading her back to her homeland for many reasons, known and unknown, as she said. So, the show must go on. And being in event production for over 25 years, I understand that adaptability is an extremely important quality to have when we're doing any kind of events, because we can't control the weather. We can't control others. There's so many things that are out of our hands that we just have to trust and know that everything is coming together in divine order and supporting us. And if we have pure intent and follow our own hearts along the way and work in collaboration, whether it be in person or virtual, and having that shareable energy and understanding and open communication, that is how we can come together and do these conscious events, and everything will fall into place beautifully. So I honor her and you and the process, and know that everything will work out absolutely beautiful.
I know. It's just the next adventure,
Mm-hmm.
And and again, it's a powerful thing, I think, because the energy that I have to just say it this way, but the energy that her and I have created is obviously a copy of what's created within within the person. So this is what we're all doing, and it's a powerful thing. This is how I think that the transformation starts to show in the physicality, so to speak. These things that have been non-physical in all of us, it comes from this place of, and it's a totally different operating system, and we're all getting the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's real. It's real. And I think enough people, we wouldn't have made it through 2020 and this far 2021, any of us, if we didn't have that deep innate knowing that's been growing at a deliberate, steady pace.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And these challenges make us stronger. It's been exactly a year ago that I was away from my beloved for 5 weeks. And it's rough. It's hard because we you grow dependent on one another in a way, and not like a codependent relationship,
Mm-mm.
but we have, the habits of sharing coffee and conversation every morning. And, when you travel separately, which we have been doing more and more over the last few years, because I'm involved in different events and mostly in Arizona. I live here in Colorado. And a year ago, I set out for a 5-week road trip, which started in Sedona to do a few events there. And then I was headed out to California to help produce the Galactic Goddess Festival in Laguna Beach with Michelle Anderson and the Star Knowledge Conference out there, which got canceled. And I did hold my women's retreat near Sedona there. But after that, that's when the lockdown started. All my plans changed. And as an event producer and very, very organized, and I have my schedule laid out for the year, I know what I'm doing every weekend. I have been so used to a very structured schedule, and that's how I work. So when everything changed and all these events that I was to be a part of, everything got canceled. It just really threw me for a loop. And I ended up staying in Arizona for 5 weeks, changing all my plans. I went to stay with a friend who has an organic farm over by Payson. And I just helped him and stayed with his grandsons and got my hand in the dirt and tried to detach from the internet, because a part of me was feeling a lot of fear around what was going to happen. I didn't know if I'd be able to travel back home again to Colorado or how long I was going to be there, but I knew I was in a super safe place, being at this off-grid organic farm that's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's just beautiful, like a permaculture paradise. So I felt comfortable there. I'm around good people. We're eating off the land, high vibrational organic vegetables. I'm staying in this cute little log cabin. I build a fire every night, and I'm able to bike and play with these young boys that I cared for and cooked for, along with my friend, for a month. And it just felt really good. And it was a good place to ground down and just get reconnected with the earth. And I know a lot of people were spinning out and coming up with all these different, there was a lot of the fear porn online, and people were just, really having a challenging time. And I did, after 5 weeks, come home, and it was different. Everything was different. This whole last year has been extremely challenging. And I had to cancel one of our biggest events, which was Resonate Festival, that was scheduled for last October. And it was devastating to me to cancel that. I grieved for weeks, and I'm still hurt that we could not produce that last year because of all the restrictions. We decided to not produce that again this year. So I've just been working toward other events and keeping busy with other things in my life.
Right on. Right
Yeah.
on. Well, I'm just, I got off on a tangent there because there was something I wanted to say, but I didn't want to seem like I wasn't answering your question. Last night when we connected, these connections are, we've talked about them, and they go differently. Obviously, you have two different people, but she's 99% of the time the channel, which is very distinct of the feminine energy anyway. And so last night she started having this vision, and I just checked in, I connected to it, and I started seeing it, and it was incredible. She described it, which was really incredible. And so what it was basically saying was that when we step in our truth, which I think is what we're all doing, as we deconstruct and reconstruct our relationships, and what is a relationship, and what is communication and connection, and so on. But as a person walks that direction, a portal opens, and you walk into a higher reality. And I really believe that somewhere around the equinox of last month, everything changed. And that's why I'm excited. When I talked to Jason Estes about the Soulogyfest, he says, Todd, that's like the perfect time to have it, because on the 15th, the gates are wide open, and it'll take us a couple of weeks to get used to it. This is like the perfect, and this also follows a couple of other people's forecast, that they get from their intel. But it's just it's an incredible time. Your description of what you went through to me kind of captures, maybe it was almost like a preseason training boot camp or whatever, because I think this is the type of 3D reality, so to speak, that will characterize, or let me put it this way, put a pressure on us that will bring us even more into the moment, into the now. It'll be less a distraction and more of a kind of like a laugh. Like when you have a big elevation and you realize how stupid you were, and you're like, well, we were caught up in that, the beauty of it, right? But yeah, I mean, we none of us, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
we don't know if we'll.
Seize the moment. Live for today.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to the store, and the truth is, I wouldn't know if I'd see Morgan that day, a week from now, a month from now, or ever. And the same goes here. But I think plenty of us have pulled in enough code, and I know a lot of this code and a lot of the memory for a lot of people is like right on the tip of the mind's tongue, right? It's almost like trying to say something, you can't think of the word. It's there. And it just doesn't communicate with us like we communicate together. But I appreciate you being here. You're extremely professional. I'm looking forward to organizing this one. It's been a very cool experience so far because of what's been happening all along since we announced it. Working with these new energies in collaboration with people like you and Jade and the others is extraordinary, because it's so atypical of what I'm used to in my 20-year corporate career. It's so beautiful to see. We came together with the intention of having equal representation of feminine and masculine, and we went into a meeting, and that was physically, the reality of what happened, and even though things have flowed from there, that's the key. They've flowed. They haven't been forced. No one's been pushing, and it's just allowing and trusting, and it's a beautiful thing to see the feminine. The motion of the feminine energy in all of us as a small microcosm of what's actually happening. And it's happening more and more because we're all stepping into it and believing in it, being it.
Yeah, and I'm so thrilled that we're doing Soulogyfest in Sedona. I really wanted to talk a lot about Sedona today. As I mentioned to Morgan, I've had a 25-year love affair with Sedona. I have had some of the best times in my life and some of the worst, a lot of highs and lows, and Sedona has a way of amplifying, intensifying, magnifying every emotion you're feeling. So if you remember this series, Fantasy Island from back in the 70s, I feel like it's kind of Fantasy Island with Sedona, where you come with these questions and expectations and soul searching and open hearts, and Sedona has a way of putting a mirror in front of you, showing you your greatest fears and your greatest potential. It's a truly magical place, and I have had some extraordinary experiences there over the last 25 years. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Sedona and what to expect at Soulogyfest.
There's my guide. He's my guide in Sedona.
Anubis. All right.
Anubis, man. Morgan will tell you about that.
With Anubis?
Oh my God, yeah. But you know what, Christy, you're right, and yeah, please do talk about it. But that's another thing too, and I think you're there with it. Is the synchronicity of it. The first Soulogyfest in Sedona, and even when you have a gathering, and anyone that knows that's done that in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, where you have a gathering of say 4 or 5, 10 people that are in this type of lifestyle, there's a lot of energy just in that convergence. You have people getting triggered. You might go to a conference and 2-3 days for the next 2-3 days after the conference, you're just on your back. So Yeah, but go ahead and talk
Yeah,
about that.
it tends to bring up a lot, and it's a learning opportunity. It teaches you a lot about yourself, and there's a lot of places like Sedona. I feel like that particular area is part of this earth grid where there are sacred places like Mount Shasta. There are several places in Europe, definitely Australia, places around the world that tend to amplify that energy. And Sedona is known for the vortexes and sacred ceremonial ground. I spend several weeks there every few months. I reside in northern Colorado, but I have family right there in Sedona and Flagstaff and throughout Arizona. I lived there for over 20 years in Arizona. So when I first heard about Sedona, I was living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was in my early 20s, and I was raised in just a very kind of conservative, sheltered lifestyle. And I had no clue about metaphysics or anything other than just this interesting culture of Salt Lake City at the time. So I was in my early 20s and I had some friends that were talking about going to Sedona. I'm like, what is this place? And they showed me some pictures. I'm like, wow, it looks incredible. This is before internet. This is in, mid 90s, before you could like just research anything at a moment. So I went to the bookstore, I found a book about Sedona and I started reading it and just became completely infatuated with this place. And I had planned a trip to go with some friends. They bailed at the last minute, so I went by myself. So this was post-divorce. I was a single mother of two. I was working at a radio station in Salt Lake and just decided to go on this road trip by myself with my dog and traveled down through Zion National Park, which was absolutely incredible, and spent the night in Flagstaff. And then that morning, I drove down through Oak Creek Canyon, and I had this feeling come over me of remembrance.
Wow.
Of just this super intense connection with this place. And I'd never in my life felt that before. And I just wept. I cried all the way down Oak Creek Canyon. And if any of you out there listening have ever driven Oak Creek Canyon between Sedona and Flagstaff, it's just one of the most beautiful places on earth. And I was driving down, and it was actually on Memorial Day weekend. This will be my 25th year anniversary of my first trip to Sedona. And coming up when Soulogyfest is scheduled over
Are you
Memorial Weekend.
serious?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
25-year
What day?
anniversary.
What day was it?
Exactly the same. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
this is crazy. Okay. See, and I keep seeing multiple alignments, and this started in February when we went down to South Texas, but May the 30th, let's see, May the 30th at 1:11 in the morning is when in my, at least for the physical Todd, Soulogy was born. And it's going to be the 10-year mark, and it's your 25-year mark. Right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And I, all the drive down there, I was getting these downloads of information and some things that would tie into my future, and all this information that was just coming through, and I didn't even know what was happening because I was just super naive. And I get to Sedona and I'm just blown away by the beauty, by the energy, with the people I was meeting, the interactions and conversations. It was just such a magical experience. I camped up on Schneebly Hill and just slept out under the stars and just really felt such a deep connection with Sedona. And I kept having these flashes of, I feel like it was a past life experience there. And during a recent past life regression, it's like a hypnotic trance that I was in with a friend, I started to remember more about my past life there and being part of the Yavapai tribe. Sedona is in Yavapai County. Yavapai were the first natives that inhabited that land. And the Yavapai, Apache, all of those tribes would go to Sedona for ceremony. They didn't live right in Sedona. And they're able to tell from the different ruins and things and stories told through the generations that Sedona was too intense, that you didn't want to live right in Sedona, that you would only go there for special times and ceremony and gatherings and events and things. So I felt a strong connection with the Yavapai tribe, and especially with the Wapukepa, the Apache people from the foot of the Red Rock. People of the sun. That's the original people in the Oak Creek Canyon area, and I just felt like I had past lives there. During my past life regression, I had this memory of it was like the Trail of Tears, where when the Spaniards came in to remove the natives from that area and take them to the reservations. I was a young girl, like a teenager in the late 1800s, and I feel like this was part of my soul lineage, and I had this memory of being responsible for my younger sister during this whole removal of the natives of that area, and that she was, crying and complaining, and people were dropping dead and being injured. There were battles. There was just so much trauma that was happening throughout that whole removal and transporting the natives to reservations at that time. And I had this memory of holding on to my little sister's hand, which I feel is my grandmother in this lifetime. We have a real close connection, and I would, if I would yell out during that time, if I were to resist in any way, they would put sand in my mouth and they wouldn't let us have any water. And so I had like this, I sand in my mouth and cough, and I felt like I was silenced. And that's been kind of an issue with this lifetime, is finding my voice, finding my sense of comfort and confidence, and having the ability to speak out and share my truth. So I appreciate this opportunity to be here speaking with you. It's actually the first time I've ever been live online at all.
Is that right? What an honor. What
or
a
even
deep,
on a
deep
video.
honor. Here we go with the synchronicity and
Right. Yeah.
the power
So it's
of the
a
moment.
really special time, 25 years coming back full circle on the exact same weekend for this special event. And I feel so aligned with Soulogy, with you, with Morgan, with the whole community. It's a vibration, it's an energy, it's a frequency. And when I met you a couple years ago, when we were promoting Resonate Fest that Jade and I produced, we came on your show and talked a little bit about what was going to be happening at that music festival there near Sedona. And so I guess I was live on video for a few minutes at that point.
But the camera wasn't close.
Right,
We were just
yeah.
sitting at a table.
Yeah, and there were some glitches anyway. I don't even think it went out live. I couldn't find it afterwards. So yeah, really special time. That first trip when I went to Sedona, I met this really mysterious gentleman, and he gave me a book by Neville. Neville was an author in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he talked about manifesting your reality. And it was like one of the first times I had ever heard of that concept of manifestation and what that meant, how we consciously create our reality with our thoughts, our words, and actions. And it just, like, this light went off in my head. It was just, the first time of ever reading that. So I devoured that book, and then shortly after I read Celestine Prophecy and The Alchemist, and started following some of these authors and speakers that were, talking more about stepping into our power and creating what we desire. I mean, what a concept. So for 25 years, I've been practicing that. And anybody who knows me well understands that I'm an incredibly powerful magician in that sense, that I have this this ability to manifest amazing things, whether it be an event or, you know, just things that I think of in my life, people that I think of that I want to draw in. Bringing community together is one of my greatest passions. Just meeting the right people at the right time, learning the things I need to learn, and then manifesting really incredible opportunities to travel around the world. A lot of, you know, free trips I've been able to take, and just events that I've been able to go to that I've been offered to go for free, or with a media pass, or with volunteering or producing. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the magic of manifestation and how that can be amplified in Sedona.
Yeah.
So when we go to Sedona for our prayers and purpose and intention, and really open our hearts, let go of the ego and attachments and expectations, and just allow the energy to naturally flow and not force it. It's a really gentle balance of trusting our inner guidance, and knowing where to go, knowing who to talk to, who to kind of avoid, and really trusting that internal navigation system to guide us to, you know, the right opportunities to learn and grow. And I feel like Sedona has those energies there, where it's not just about Soulogyfest and the presenters that are coming. That's a huge part of it, but the opportunity to be in that space, in that area, with the vortexes and all the energy, the red rocks, which is just a high iron concentrate. It's that beautiful red color with all the iron. There's a lot of calcite and quartz crystal embedded in all the rocks. It's absolutely gorgeous and extremely powerful. As we know, the crystals, you know, they're a living thing, and it amplifies the energy. So if you come with questions, with you know, desires, anything that you bring to the area in conjunction with the community and people that we're experiencing events with, or solo experiences there as well, everything is amplified. And I have witnessed the most miraculous things possible. I mean, I have had just miracles happen to me personally, in a group, through ceremony, prayers answered. It's just an incredible place. There's a lot of beauty and magic in Sedona, as well as a lot of tourists and traffic and annoying things too. So there's always
Well, I can speak to a couple things on that. One is, so Morgan and I, we had a divine union ceremony in a spiral, which is a whole other story, spiral garden. And there's a 9-minute video on SoulSpeaks music videos on SoulogyOneStudios YouTube that takes still pictures and, you know, has a slideshow, and you can see in the energy of the pictures, and you could feel it that day, not just the galactic presence, but the organic elemental presence. It was very palpable. And when I listen to you talk about that and reflect on my times in Sedona, which I think this will be my 6th or 7th time. The first time I went for 6 weeks, which was, I guess, my initiation, and I can validate everything that you said. My last 2 trips have been very, very smooth and seamless, but who knows? But anyway, what I was going to say is, it is a very, very special place. And it is almost like going, you know, when you have those come to Jesus meetings with the universe, which is you and the universe, and you really open up your heart and you really cut the bullshit. And that's that's the way I see Sedona. And I'm like you. The first time I went there, I got there one night, and the next day I get in a car to go up to West Sedona. And as I'm coming up from VOC, past Bell Rock, I just started singing this ancient Indian voice, and I'm an Indian chief on top of a cliff, bringing in the rain. So it's a powerful, powerful place, and it will, like the universe everywhere, cooperate with the pure desire and intention from the heart of a soul. I think one of the things that makes Sedona different is that it's like a cosmic, galactic, angelic, inner earth superhighway, multidimensional, off dimension, off universe, off. It's everything. So it will because of its collective blend find you. Not in a bad way, but it will. It is like going into a vortex, into that womb, into that abyss, in so many words, because it is a clean slate, and you can in with intention, like you said, which is smart, go into it with your prayers, go into it with your doubts, go into it with everything, because it will serve you. And there's a lot of essences. There's a lot of energy there. It's a beautiful place. So, I just wanted to second you on that.
Yeah, it can suck you in and transform your life. It can chew you up and spit you out. Like it's a really intense place. When I first went there and had that week of just this personal soul searching trip, it changed me for the rest of my life. In fact, I decided at that moment that I wanted to live there, as a lot of people are drawn to Sedona, and a lot of people just show up and they're like, I'm supposed to live here. I'm supposed to be here. I don't know what I'm doing here, but here I am. And that's how I felt too. At the time, I had a really good job in Salt Lake City. I was working at this alternative radio station and making some, a lot of money for a girl in her early 20s. I was making a whole lot of money. I had 2 kids. I owned a house. I was in school at Salt Lake Community College. I had a lot going on, but I had to drop everything and move to Sedona. And it took me 2 years to get there. So in 1998, I left all that. I brought my son. My other son went to stay with his dad for a little while in Phoenix. And so I had my son, who was 9 years old at that time, my dog, my iguana, everything I owned in a U-Haul truck, left my job, left everything, and just came to Sedona. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I put all my stuff in a storage unit. I actually camped out for 6 weeks with my dog and animals, and then, miracles happened. And within 6 weeks, I owned another house on the river, and I was working for Four Corners magazine. And that just launched this whole other chapter in my life. I started writing and doing ads for Four Corners magazine. Some of my articles got picked up by other magazines, a magazine called Power Trips. And so I started learning about all these different sacred places around the earth, and I traveled more. I just learned, and being in media, I had a media pass to all the different events. I went to my first Star Knowledge conference in 1996 in Sedona, and met the chief, Golden Light Eagle, who's been on your show. And
I've never had him. I want.
Oh no, he was on Awakening Code Radio.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. Do you know him?
Great. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I work with Jen with Star Knowledge Conference, and Chief Golden Light Eagle, who was standing elk back at that time. So yeah, one of my favorite podcasts is 1111 Awakening Code Radio, and I just love Eric Rankin. I told him I've been a fangirl for about 8 years.
He's going to be doing. He's doing the last presentation Friday night, the first night.
Yeah, I'm super excited to hear him present.
Yeah, you mentioned you mentioned Awakening Code, who's collaborating with us. I still need to talk to her and connect with her, but we've kind of been doing it through osmosis. But also the folks over at Portal to Ascension.
Yes.
Neil Gower.
Yep.
I was introduced to him last week, and he was just very forthcoming, very much the same energy. I mean, it's incredible. Does a lot of what you do, and some production, video production, I think, as well. He's also a conscious rapper, what I call a soul speaker.
Yeah.
At least that's what I do. Anyway, so he was very accommodating. He said he'd like to come himself, first of all. And if you guys haven't checked out portaltoascension.com, you might want to check it out. They've done some amazing stuff. It's in the same, feel, the same energy is what we're doing here. But he is going to come down and, do a 20-minute spot with the music accompaniment that we're going to have from start to finish, at the on the main stage. But he also put us in touch with some new Sedona residents that a lot of people know of. I think they moved there a few months ago. And that's J.J. Hurtak and his wife, Desiree. Now, J.J. Hurtak, he wrote The Keys of Enoch, which is on par with the Gene Keys, the I Ching. I mean, this is some powerful, it's in the neighborhood like the raw material. I mean, it's a powerful channeling or collaboration that he put into print. A lot of people are familiar with it, and it's very prophetic if you take a look at it for these times right now. So I just got confirmation from Neil this morning that they will be coming. I still have to have another conversation as to where they're put into the schedule, because there's only 1 or 2 slots really left.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and he also mentioned another person, I won't name the name, who's very, very well known, who wants to have a conversation. So this is that alignment, allowing things to flow, and I think we're all in our lives seeing that happen and learning to work with it, and then of course to do it where 2 or more gather is not only exciting, but it's also cosmically exponential in terms of what can be generated. We're going to step into our power, all of us together. And that's the amazing thing, when we can look without straining our eyes at anyone and see, I hate to sound cheesy, but see their higher soul, higher self, soul, see them for what they truly are, as you're finding out and I'm finding out what I truly am and you truly are.
Yeah.
But so that's happening. I also just got a message from Skylar Menard, who is Jason Estes' PR person. Now, Jason's going to have 3 spots. He's coming up from Dallas. This is the first leg of his 3-year world tour, where he's involved with this initiative, or has originated this initiative, where they're planting trees from a very powerful intention all around the world. But anyway, she hit me up and she said, in terms of the 1.5 hour State of the Ascension talk on Saturday, that's Jason's closing out Saturday, before the music comes on, would you be up for joining him on stage for this one as more of a discussion? He feels like this would be a more natural flow versus, him just talking at people for that length of time. And I looked at that on this morning, the day before my beloved physically will be going on a plane, and also the response from Neil and connecting with you and listening to you and hearing you come out, and all these things are just alignment, they're flow. And it's an amazing thing. And I just want to say on a personal level, while I'm bearing my heart, there's another reason that I know that this is such a gift. 2 reasons. One, because since 2009, the last week of May has been the most pivotal time of the year for me every year. And so that's a powerful thing. But secondly is Soulogy is Soulogy. And then I guess there's like Soulogy One Studios, which I was downloaded 2 years later after I got Soulogy, to create, not even know what the hell it was, right? Just go downstairs, read your words, put some music on and read your words. And that started it. But there was, I guess, I don't know. It's right when I met Morgan too. So there was this creative thing that came out of me, and I produced 100 Soul Speak music videos. Is what I called them. And it was just me exploring my creativity and expanding. And it was an important part of Soulogy, and I always understood that. So it was under the same umbrella. And then came SOULSPEAKS 5D, which is really the bread and butter. Let's face it. You know, I would talk to Morgan. You know, from the day we met, we would be on the phone, and 2 months into it, she's like, 7 or 8 years ago, I put out an intention to the universe to have a place where everybody comes together and tells their stories and shares their experiences and their magic and their skills and their abilities. And she said, I think it'd be a great idea if you started talking to people and it wasn't just you on the screen all the time. Which went right along with the intel I'd received from the day I got Soulogy, which they told me for 6 months straight. It's not about you, Todd. Just remember, it's not about you, Todd. So, and I'm making jokes, but it's all true. Beautiful humor in the wisdom. But so what I'm getting at is there's been the period of time where it started, and this went on for about 2 years before then she came over, and I was putting out a lot of lyrical stuff, a lot of, Soul Speak music videos, and just really diving deep into it. Then she came, and the creativity changed in it, and she came in the summer of 2018, and we had like 400 episodes, and she said, let's do this. And then it exploded, right? And that balanced the creativity, I guess is what I'm saying, of two came together, and it just took its on a whole life of its own. So on a personal level, because there's Todd over here, and then there's Todd on a personal level, the creativity's been screaming at me. The last time I really put some stuff out that even came close to me taking notice was when I was separated from her for 9 months, and I put out some really cool stuff that I was happy with. But so what I'm trying to say is, one of the other reasons I know that there's something really big happening here is because from the get-go, and you've understood this and Jade's understood this, is that the intention is to, and this is not about Soulogyfest so much as it is about imprinting a heart-intended collaboration, a template onto this new grid through the action of being and doing. And so it's a blend. It's not like a regular conference. It's not like a regular day anymore. It's not like a regular reality or atmosphere that we're walking in more and more every day. And so it's a blend. So imagine going to a conference. This one starts at noon on Friday, ends at 10 on Sunday, and then there's 4 or 5 hours on Monday, Memorial Day, that are free to the public that'll be at Chocolate Tree. But the entire time you have an accompaniment, a creative accompaniment behind the presenter or performer that may or may not be used. There's always an element of the surprise and spontaneous and magical and intuitive and creative to come through at any time to segue from one act to another. Our breaks will be taken during musical interludes between presenters, where there'll be a freestyle open mic type of flow, and our meals will be taken in that same atmosphere. There's no, we're taking a break, everybody go away, and then we'll meet you back here. There's a constant flow of a change of frequency, adding additional frequencies to an ever expanding vibration, which is what we're all doing, and which is what the universe does. Mm-hmm. And so on a personal level, it's come into me in the last few days. I've never thought of myself as a performer, but it's come in pretty strong that, you need to represent this side of Soulogy. It's not just words, it's expressions, spontaneous, freestyle, open mic, from the heart, putting it all together in the best of your abilities, inspiration from that which you are, and in gratitude and expression and love and truth and heart. And so it's my way of saying that I'm going to be memorizing some words, making up some words, practicing, my vocals, and I'm going to collaborate with these incredible, amazing musicians that are going to be guided by the incredible Sonic Alchemy, Jade Lyons, and Ty Hudson. And I'm looking forward to an expansive experience that's going to be like nothing I've ever been a part of. So I'm excited for that, because it's not about Todd. It's just Todd's coming into alignment with that mutual dream that so many people are coming together to create.
And it's like being a part of a symphony, and event production is much like, directing a symphony. It's everybody. It's that unique vibrational frequency. Like, all of the members of a symphony produce the sound, and no one is going to be alike, but it takes
That's right.
the synergy of everyone working together to create this event, this experience. So there's all the presenters and behind the scenes producers and volunteers and participants and musicians, and then the land, and all of that energy comes together to create this very unique experience, which will be different for everybody. And you may not resonate with everything said or with every person there, and that's okay, because that's the diversity of life. And we're drawn to certain people, and it's like that buffet before us. We can take a little more of that or a little less of that, or it's all right there. And there is so much potential with participating in a special event like that. And the venue, which I've not been to personally yet, but Jade took us on that live stream exploration of this venue, which is out Dry Creek Road, out by Boynton Canyon, it does have a big vortex energy out there in Boynton Canyon, and it's one of the least traveled for general tourists, so it's kept pretty private, this whole area out there. And I've had some really incredible experiences out in the Boynton Canyon area. So the venue, which we're not disclosing publicly, is just absolutely beautiful from the looks of it. It's a very sacred space owned by someone who is very high vibe, super conscious. He's created sweat lodge area, a place for ceremony, beautiful geodesic domes, sacred land where they have blessed and had all kinds of elders and people involved with co-creating this beautiful space that we have the honor and privilege of doing Soulogyfest for 3 days. So that's really exciting to me, to be a part of that and be on this magical land and holding space for everyone to come together and share in this incredible experience. I've produced and volunteered and participated in hundreds of events over the last 25 years. Big conferences, big festivals, small retreats, all different kinds of things. It's always different. And the excitement is you never know what's going to show up. You can have a schedule and a plan, and, things change as we go. So adapting and just, acquiescing to whatever unfolds, whatever the universe presents, whatever happens, and just being in community with others is one of the most powerful experiences I think we as humans have, and why I feel so drawn to be a part of events. And that's just really what lights me up.
Right on. And Shams and his beautiful wife and beautiful child. There you go with the triad, the Holy Trinity. They've developed this land with intention, with the same intention that we have, for instance, going, with our own lives and with working with the universe. And the reason I had brought up that divine union ceremony in New Jersey, and the video that showed the energy of the participation and collaboration of the galactic and organic et al. Families, the same holds true here. And I can feel it. It's a very deep, deep, deep Uh, it is obviously multidimensional, but the land's really speaking. You know, it's really speaking. It's the last time we went, uh, you know, through Morgan's channeling, we were shown, and it was very, very vivid, of what would happen. And this was, I think, last September, and it did. And we were shown at that time, and without going into the whole thing, that when all of these souls came into proximity, regardless of their conversation or lack thereof, you know, that there was something magnetic and electric happening that was part of you know, of a team of positions around the world, and I remember listening and seeing, you know, in the third eye, I remember seeing the pulsation that occurred from it into the grid, and I see this as being an extension and expansion of that. As we continue, you know, we step forward, and everything is becoming more and more enhanced, and right along with that is our power to manifest. And you know, the great thing about what you're saying to me is it fits. That's why I don't talk to people before I do a show, because it's like, let's talk about it in front of everybody. I mean, it seems to be something that works. I don't understand it, but what I love about what you said is that really captures it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really captures everything. Um, and so I do feel like we're all able to acknowledge that we have teams. And you can call them our higher aspects, you can call them whatever you want, but there's definitely something bigger than all of us with us. And it's compiled just as we're compiled of singular, let's just say, energies in a composite of that ever expanding whole. They're with us. And you know, don't really have any plans, but just like whenever Jade and I've got together before, you just start, and I can see uh, a very deep connection at the onset when we start after about a 4 or 5 hour start off, where we'll have the, you know, the open mic and some different performers and presenters for smaller blocks of time, you know, free flow. But when we started, I can see where we would come together in a very powerful moment of setting intention in a place that's been intentionally, um, you know, created or nurtured or grown in the same trajectory of what our energy is about. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a deep, deep feeling.
And there will be a lot of opportunity to play and frolic and be childlike and express our unique selves. So, one thing I'm excited about is the Saturday night dance party. I don't even know if we've talked much about that, but Jade and Ty and other musicians are going to be getting together, and we'll do a sound journey that will lead into more of a high energy dance party. Dancing is my jam. I love to dance, and Sedona is one of my favorite places to express myself in that way. So I really look forward to dancing and playing and hugging and smiling and just be in community with others. So yeah, everyone who is planning on coming to Soulogyfest, just plan on staying later on Saturday night as we get together and just open our hearts and dance, let our hair down, allow ourselves to just flow and move
Yeah.
that energy. And something I wanted to mention, so when you said you were driving in Sedona and you just started singing and that native
Mhm.
voice came through. So growing up in Salt Lake,
Yeah.
I live near the University of Utah, and it's the home of the Utah Utes. And, you
Utes.
know, the
I thought a
Utes,
Ute
yeah.
was an Australian truck.
So, well, come to find out, it's you know, this Indian tribe that is more located in Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, that area, and seeing the heritage, my lineage of this life goes back to the Ute, the Ute tribe in the Sangre de Cristo mountain range near Taos, New Mexico. So researching and learning more about the Ute tribe. So they would collect quartz crystals. They would make rattles that were probably out of maybe a deer's stomach or something that was translucent. So they would make these amazing rattles, fill them full of quartz crystals. And when they were in ceremony, they would sing, they would dance, they would shake the rattles. And when quartz comes together, it lights up. And I've seen this in a sweat lodge where you're chanting, you're singing, and someone's shaking the rattle, and it sparks light. That's how powerful quartz is. And as I said, Sedona is full of quartz and calcite, along with iron and all of this like electromagnetic energy, which seems to amplify that light. So we also have crystals in our ears. We have all these little crystals, tiny, tiny microscopic crystals inside of our ear canal. Also in our pineal gland, we have like the liquid crystal, like the LED screens on our computers.
Oh.
And when we sing, when we hum, when we talk, when we dance, when we jump, and we vibrate and activate those crystals within our bodies, just like the rattles. And that's where we produce that light. That's where we have that insight and that, you know, people call it downloads or intuition or codes coming through. And I feel like I have a really strong, powerful intuition. And when I speak my desires out loud, when I sing chants, when I do yoga and breathe and sing like those ancient Sanskrit and Hebrew chants, it activates those crystals in our head where we are a channel. We are a channel of source energy, and there's just that deep knowingness. So I look forward to speaking with people, to dancing, to bouncing, to just being in that energy. It seems to amplify and enhance everything within inside of us. And when two or more people come together, that creates even more energy. We're able to support each other. And if there's something I feel really strong about that I want to create, I will talk to a friend. I will get a group together. We will, you know, I lead the Fort Collins conscious community here, and we'll get together, we'll do ceremony, we'll talk, we'll support each other in our desires. That's how we can consciously manifest what we choose in our life. And if we go into our manifestation with a pure heart and not from a place of ego or I want it for me, it's more about I want to create space for community. I want to create these experiences for others to come together and share. I feel like that's why, you know, I'm so supported and we're able to support one another with these events, because it's just so special. It's life-changing.
Yeah.
So anyone out there considering coming to Soulogyfest, it's much more than a conference, a concert, any other kind of event. This is a vibration, a frequency, an opportunity to live your best life, to reach your highest potential with high vibe people coming together who understand that can support you and others to create magic, anything we want. So if that's not reason enough to attend this event, I mean, I'm just so excited, and I look forward to meeting everyone, all of the presenters, all of the participants. There's no hierarchy. No one's less than, greater than. We are all one. We are
That's right.
divine expressions contained in this human body, all these different biological containers. We're all the same energy, you know? I am one. I am soul. It's all the same.
Righteous. Yeah. You're amazing.
You are amazing.
Thank you for sharing space with me and collaborating with me. And It's amazing how, at least how I'm experiencing more and more the downloads. They're
Mm-hmm.
actually coming from those aspects of me that are in the physical right before my eyes. Beyond Morgan, I mean, it's been that way with her, but I mean, it's. I think this is where we're all going. It's like in the moment intel,
Mm-hmm.
such as seeing a vision, a couple of visions of Sedona, uh, Soulogyfest, which my human's going, oh my God, I'm not going to do that. But if you see me with a headdress, I'll respect. Um, don't be surprised. I'm real excited. It's represents so many things. And one of the things I'm excited too about is, having been broadcasting. I mean, I think we were over 5,000 broadcasts I've been associated with, or video. Let's say videos, would be they live or produced and uploaded. Is I don't really flow. I don't really flow too well with the technical side, but Jade has, as a result of what you talked about earlier, of 2020, the things that came with it, he had to shut down, so he had to go virtual, and he and his crew brought, um, a very quality expression of a virtual experience. So, that um, that contribution is the way I look at it. Of the 122 to watch the online, the entire thing in its entirety,
Mm-hmm.
at stereo quality. As he told me and as I experienced, the quality's better online than it is in person with some pretty nice, speakers. But that I believe, other than physically being there, that moment, that experience will be felt, the energy of it. In fact, I think it'll be expanded by those who watch it on a live or replay, because there is no linear time, and I've experienced that too many times in the vortex of Soul Speaks 5D.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be a huge part that I didn't even think about, because you're focused on getting people there and to the live event. But I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to tune in for that. Everybody that attends and everybody that attends online will receive an MP4 of the entire thing
Mm-hmm.
as well. So I mean, it's gonna be a lot of hours. So I don't think anyone's going to sit there for 24 hours and continuously and watch. But I think I feel really good about it. I think it offers a lot for all of us, and I'm looking forward to getting buck naked in the soul, and everybody's on the same playing field. And a lot of times we focus on what we can attain to bring ourselves to a point of self-realization or awareness, or um, do, if we obtain this or obtain that. But it's really, again, figuratively speaking, buck naked. Show up just with who you are. There's no judgment here. It's in a supporting environment. And if you want to come out like so many beautiful divine feminines have come out on this show in 2,700 episodes for the first time, like you did today, which is such an honor, uh, this will be the place to do it. That's why we're leaving. I'm estimating, but I'm saying there's probably a good 6 hours, 8 hours of the open stage time between the 3 days, and also even possibly at Chocolate Tree on Monday, of where people can come up for 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and they can give their testimony, or they can share light language, or they can bring their instrument, or share their poetry, or dance. If it's Christy Grace, she'll be up there dancing. But yeah, that's a big part of it, because that's I think embodying a greater level of equality
Mm-hmm.
and representation and recognition.
Yes, so we still have tickets available online. You can get more information at soulogyfest.com. Tickets are $555 per person, and it's $122 to watch it virtually. as Todd said, you will get an MP4 with that, so you can watch it as your leisure. I believe those also coming in person will also get the MP4
Yes.
link, so they can watch it at their leisure. Each day we're going to be providing a really tasty meal and healthy snacks. So yeah, there's just going to be a whole lot to experience in person or online if you do choose to participate in this event. I know we'll have more. I think this is the first of many. So I really feel a great synergy with Soulogy, and I would love to be a part of future events. We can maybe move it around the nation or the world, you know, just see how things go with it all. I love physical events and online events, and there is just so much that each person brings to the table. And if any of you see me at the event, I'm like this mother hen energy where I really enjoy nurturing and caring for people. I care about you and your experience, and I welcome you to talk with me if you get triggered, if you feel upset, or if anything comes up for you, or if you're just excited about something, you know, come to me, let's talk. I will help you, I will support you. I feel a real strong sense of responsibility to anyone that attends, and I want to make sure you have the most amazing experience of your life, and we're all here to help process anything that may come up for you at that time. So just know that you are supported and you are in a safe container, a safe space to share whatever it is that comes up. So yeah, we're just super excited for this event and to share it with the world. And yeah, I feel like it's first of many.
Yeah, it is. No doubt. I downloaded that. I believe it would have been March. Well, it was March 2012. I watched the whole thing happen, but I
Yeah.
was watching from the outside in, and it is what I observed, and I have been given over the years. It's a grassroots type of thing, and there is no one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a template,
Right.
and I'm sure there are other ones out there, but from what I was shown, it's a big template, and I don't have any. I don't care, and I haven't cared since the day I was given it in the physical in 2012. But yeah, to me, it's a small mirror of the multiverses, the characteristics that we're all coming into in ascension by our growing awareness and, you know, recognition of our true nature, putting and walking the talk. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's
It's a
the thing.
collective soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And walking the talk isn't a hard and fast thing. Walking the talk is just simply being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more than anything, really. If you look at everything that you observe, that they're finding their sovereignty first through their voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really just want to. I can't even express, and I'm happy to do it in front of all of our brothers and sisters. You're an amazing, amazing example of and mirror of our potential and of this rising feminine in all of us, and that's the truth. It's a new design. It's a new architecture. We're familiar with it because she made us. So it's not like we were ever disconnected. She's too omnipotent for that. But the mother energy is she's a beast, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and she's beautiful and she's fair and she's all the things that we are. And it's an honor to be on this earth in this amazing space and time, and also to be involved in a little microcosmic aspect of it called Soulogyfest with beautiful people like yourself.
Ah,
And thank you for sharing your story and coming out. And I think you're a natural. So I'm happy to continue collaborating.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all ears.
Honored and thrilled to work with
Yeah.
you and just keep that shareable energy flowing.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
I love
So
you.
yeah, check out SoulogyFest.com, and
Yeah.
we will see you in the ethers or in physical in Sedona, May 28th through the 30th. All right.
Or both. Or both.
Yes.
Love you. I'll talk